Batman Arkham Knight came out in 2015, and this is the final Batman Arkham game. It released a while ago by this point, and I decided, why not talk about it? I completed it probably a couple months ago, and this game really is a good one. Though I do think that its reputation is harmed because when people think about this game, they attempt to compare it to the others, but I don't think you should really do that because, they're comparing it to games that came out 4 to 6 years ago, like Asylum and City. But you can't really do that. This game was made in a different time when games were starting to get more advanced and games were being made a little bit differently. So obviously they weren't able to make Arkham Knight the first two games. Still, this one had a lot to live up to, and I think it did stick the landing very, very well. Better than other games. Still, though, there is some issues, and I plan to cover this today in my Batman Arkham Knight review. So one of the most notable things in this game, or in all the Arkham games, is the combat. This game handles that very well. Obviously, it has that flow combat, so you could be in one side of the room fighting a thug, and then you could just jump over and just kick another guy in the shins, jump over, and it feels so good, and that really just gives it an addictive and a very, very nice gameplay mechanic because it just feels so fluent. And obviously people talk about the Batmobile, but I plan on talking about that later because now I want to talk about the story. The story in this game is really, really good because, so remember in the first game when you had the Scarecrow, but he was kind of there, he was kind of doing Joker's bidding, but this time he's back and he looks a little bit more different, and he is back to take over Gotham City in an interesting way because what he wants to do is he wants to take it over and basically is fear toxin. So that everybody's evacuated, and this version of Scarecrow is terrifying. This is definitely one of my most favorite versions of the Scarecrow because it just looks absolutely fantastic. Its mask and its face are just pretty much welded together because it's been just melted and everything. He looks horrifying. He is the embodiment of fear, and that's what he always planned to do, but now he literally looks like the embodiment of fear. And so he plans on doing that, but then remember how remember then in the last game there was a whole thing with Joker's blood? Yeah, well, Joker's trying to take over his mind, and he might become the next Joker. So then he starts seeing Joker manifesting in his mind, and I know a lot of people don't like this because Joker's in every single game, but without the Joker in this game, it really wouldn't be that good. Think of the game, okay? You have it with the Joker, and you have this game. But now I want you to think about the game again, and all the sequences in the game, just without the Joker. Are they as fun and interesting? No. Imagine tracking down the last remaining Jokers, and inside of that facility. And then instead of Joker singing, it's just the actual person. That's just going to be kind of boring. But no, you get freaking Mark Hamill absolutely busting, doing this epic, just spouting these epic lyrics in the Joker's voice. I'm just kind of sad that my Alexa can't play it. That's the only travesty in this whole thing. Anyways, so again, over time he gets cured, and he eventually pushes the Joker back to the recesses of his mind because what's basically happening here is Batman interacting with the fear toxin. When he's interacting with the fear toxin, what happens is that it manifests, and when it does this, it just manifests in his mind, and the Joker starts to appear, and it's he's scared of the Joker taking him over, and what will happen if the Joker's back and he's not there to stop him. Since the GCPD is absolutely helpless. I'm being serious. They are the most helpless people ever. And yeah, so now we have to talk about the Batmobile. The Batmobile has a lot of sections in this game. Tank fights, which honestly I don't really care about, to be honest. The tank fights are so basic and can sometimes be very frustrating if you haven't gotten the Batmobile mastered. But this game will really make sure you've mastered that Batmobile through the game. Ace Chemicals was really the moment in the game where you're like, wow, I'm going to really need to know how to do this, or I am not going to have a lot of fun playing through this game. But eventually, you crack the case on how to play the game, and from there, it's just a lot of fun. And, you know, people say that Batmobile isn't fun, and honestly, there was some times in the game where I feel like fighting the tanks, so I would just go out of my way to fight, just like fly over the cross of the buildings, because I didn't really feel like using the Bat Tank, or Batmobile as they call it, and, you know, just like, it would just be so much easier just to glide around. And obviously there was some cut content, and now I'm going to finish off with the side missions, and then I'm going to end this video for good. So the side missions in this game are, on one hand, a lot better than the ones in any of the other games, but on the other hand, they just feel shoehorned in. Like, okay, so now that the Joker's gone, there's a power imbalance between the criminals. So now you have Penguin and Two-Face kind of working together a little bit. But here's the thing. They just take place in, like, 2 side missions. Both of these side missions are just not good. You have to go around bank to bank, taking out the bank. And then for the other one, it's just doing the same exact thing, except with guns for the Penguin. It just doesn't work. And they obviously had to put them in because they're notable characters and everything. And really, I do have a video on this channel of the Two-Face boss fight. I just didn't care enough for the Penguin one because it's just so bad. But again, there are some cool ones. We get to see like the Man-Bat's cool, and some of the other ones are fine. But the Riddler trophies, man, that's like, oh, those are abysmal. But still, the game is a lot of fun, and I do think it holds up as the final Arkham game. He pushes out Joker out of his mind, finally leaving him to just die, just to be forgotten, his greatest fear, Joker's greatest fear, and it goes on. But then you have to complete the Riddler trophies. But after that, it's all over, and yeah, that is Batman Arkham Knight pretty much. I loved this game. This game, I think, is probably my most favorite Arkham game, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just the time it came out, and maybe I'm still a little younger, and I was born after all these games, so I have time to just go through them and kind of just develop my own opinion. But yeah, that's just what I think about it. If you enjoyed this video or any of my other content, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.